Good afternoon. I'm going to call the meeting to order, that being the regular council meeting of Warwick Township Council, November 3rd, 2025, and at the start time of 3:30. Remind council of disclosure of pecuniary interest or conflict of interest. Does anybody have either one at this time? Seeing none, thank you. Also like to welcome everybody who's joining us through our YouTube link. And now I'm going to do the acknowledgement of ancestral lands. We acknowledge that the Township of Warwick is located on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, as well as the many Indigenous nations in Ontario whose footsteps have marked them for centuries. We also wish to acknowledge that we are situated on Treaty 29 and Treaty 25 territories signed by Chippewa chiefs, and we offer our respect and gratitude for these lands. Council, can we go to number 5? And that's minutes of the previous council meeting. And that's the minutes of the October 25th meeting. Does anybody have any questions or comments on that? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion. Councillor Morris, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Manning. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And I don't believe there's any business arising. No, thank you very much. Okay, let's go to number 7 if we could. Scheduled meetings and events. This is an FYI that appears on all of our agendas. Did anybody have any questions on 7A at all? Again, it's an FYI unless somebody has a specific question. Seeing none, very good. How about B? Anybody have any questions on B? If there's something there that interests you, please let the clerk know and we'll deal with it at the proper time. We're going to go to number 8 on the agenda, council, and that's councilors' commitments and items. Does anybody have anything they wish to add to the commitment list this time around? Seeing none, very good. Let's go to B, and that's councilors' items and verbal reports. I'll start with you, Councillor Manning.
I have nothing today, thanks.
Your Councillor Morris.
Yeah, this question is for Public Works. Kyle, I was requested by a resident to see if we could bring in one of those leaf vacuums once a year in the fall to suck up leaves. I know some of the other, I think it's Glencoe that does it. But if you could look into something like that and maybe get back to us, you'd have to schedule it for like, okay, it's 1 or 2 days a week. That's it, kind of a thing. You couldn't have it continually, but just a one-shot deal. If you could look into it, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you. I'll get a quote for our next council meeting.
Great, thank you. And actually, maybe that would be good if we could have those numbers for budget deliberations too, and we could add it to our list of items that need to be done if council wishes to move forward on it. Okay, so I only have the one thing today, and we had a very good meeting with MPP Pinsonneau and Enbridge not that long ago to discuss the expansion of natural gas in our community. And I must say it was a very good meeting having both Enbridge and the MPP here. And we've also dealing, as council knows, we've had meetings with the Associate Minister of Energy as well on this. So we continue to try to convince the province that we need that provincial funding to move the expansion of natural gas to our community. But I want to say thank you to both MPP Pinsonneau and Enbridge for a very, very good meeting that we had here approximately 2.5, 3 weeks ago. And we appreciate their cooperation, and we're hopeful that something may happen here in the next little while. So I just want to let the public know that we continue to advocate for that natural gas expansion in our community and continue to do so. So I just wanted to let everybody be aware of that. So that item was one I wanted to mention. Okay, do we have any staff items verbally?
We do not have any today, thank you.
Thank you very much. We have delegations and timed events, and as usual, we're running just a little bit ahead. Not much. We're going to come back to that at 3:40. We have a quarter of revision for the Alt Redmond drains. So what we'll do is we'll go down to accounts if we could, council. We'll go to accounts, and that'd be number 11A is the GL. Did anybody have any questions on the GL account at this time? Nope, seeing none. How about the accounts payable, council? Yes, Councillor Morris.
I have one for Ryan. $3,200 for cleaning fume hoods. What exactly do they do for $3,300?
Thank you, Councillor Morris. So that's cleaning of the hoods in our park concessions, in our arena concessions, our outdoor community kitchen, as well as our 2 arena upper hall and ELCC community kitchen. So they come in annually, inspect the ductwork, degrease it, which it is quite a dirty process. They spend upwards of a full day doing that, providing that service.
Would it be like a fire prevention thing because of the grease then?
Yes, that's certainly a part of it. Cleanliness, it helps with the Lambton Public Health certifications for each concession. And yeah, again, just keeping in mind that I believe 6 locations that make up that $3,200 charge.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Anything else on the accounts, council? No, say that. I would entertain a motion. There's a recommendation that Warwick Township Council approves the GL report and the accounts payable as presented. Councillor Manning is making that motion, seconded by Councillor Morris. Thank you. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Okay, we've got a couple minutes, council. Let's go to the number 12, the consent agenda. Action correspondence first. Anybody have any questions on the action correspondence at all? On the, or probably the non-action, I'm sorry, 12A? Anybody? No? Okay. How about 12B, Parks and Recreation Committee meeting minutes? No? No questions on that as well? Okay, then I would entertain a motion to receive and file A and B, if I could, please. Councillor Morris is making that motion, seconded by Councillor Manning. All in favor? That is carried. Okay, very good. We're going to go back now to delegations, going by our clock here. It's now, well, it's 3:40 according to, or pardon me, well, 4:40, it says 5:40 or 20 to 5, but the clock hasn't been changed. So we are literally pretty much on the, not on the timeline here. Let me just have a look here, maybe give it a couple more minutes. Let's go if we can, council. We'll deal with one more item and we'll give a couple more minutes to see if anybody comes through the door. Let's go to action correspondence 13A, if we could, please. There's one item, 11-24. It's from the Watford Girl Guides. It's a request for donation. And it's basically an increase in their grant that they get yearly from $1,000 to $1,500. Anybody have any questions, comments on that? Councillor Morris?
I thought we set all those during budget, did we not? For,
Yes, we do. This will be set for 2026, whether or not we want to entertain it. 2025, they've been paid 1,000. This is for 2026.
Okay, so it's a request basically to bump it up from 1,000 to 1,500. It can be a motion to refer it to the budget is maybe appropriate this time, depending on how council feel. Councillor Manning?
I'll make a motion to refer to the budget.
Councillor, moved by Councillor Manning, seconded by Councillor Morris. Call the question. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Come back to 13B. I'm going to go back again to delegations, and we are going to move forward with the quarter revision as it is about 3:41 according to the clock here in the room. So we're going to go to that. So council, we're going to go to delegations. We're going to do the first one, which is the quarter revision. And I will state the following. I need a motion that Warwick Township Council proceed into the quarter revision for the Alt Redmond Drain 2025 bylaw number 57 of 2025. Moved by Councillor Morris, seconded by Councillor Manning. All in favor? That's carried. Have any written appeals been received? None have been received. Does anyone present have any verbal appeals? Seeing none. Does Streets or Public Works Manager have any comments to make? Thank you very much. Since there are no appeals filed, the following resolution is to be passed. The motion will be, if approved, that the quarter revision for the Alt Redmond Drain 2025 bylaw number 57 of 2025 be closed without changes to the report and that we go back into open council. Councillor Manning, second by Councillor Morris. All in favor? Carry. Perfect. Did I miss something? Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. Thought maybe I missed something in the room. Thank you, George. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. I appreciate that. Sometimes timing is everything. So we did wait an extra couple minutes for that particular item, so we're gonna go back and we've still got some time before our next delegation, Alex Ciccone from Garrett Pickfield. So we will come back to that. We'll move forward on the agenda, council, if we could, please. So we're gonna go to 13B if we could. And 13B is the annual meeting calendar. First off, we need a motion to lift it from the table because it was tabled last time. Councillor Manning is making that motion, seconded by Councillor Morris. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And then the second part is the recommendation that Warwick Township Council adopts the 2025 Council and Committee meeting calendar as presented in report CL 0625. How does council wish to deal with that recommendation? It went back to staff. They made a few little changes and we go. Councillor Morris?
I make a motion, we accept the new calendar as presented.
You seconded by Councillor Manning. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Okay. We're going to go to C if we could, please. 13C, and that's the Watford Summer Market year-end report. And there's also a recommendation that goes along with that. The recommendation is, and we'll see what council wants to do with it after the fact, that Warwick Township Council approve a report P&D 2125 and direct staff to enter into a partnership agreement with AZ Events for the 2026 Watford Summer Market. And that council direct reimbursed AZ Events $337.48 in an effort of good faith to make them whole and bring them to zero. And that council budget $1,000 towards the 2026 summer market for staffing and promotional purchases. So that is the recommendation. If there's any questions on the report first? If there's not, how does council wish to deal with the recommendation? Councillor Manning,
I'll make a motion that we move the recommendation.
seconded by Councillor Morris. Thank you. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Okay, that takes us to 13D. And that's the CIP committee recommendation to council, and the recommendation is for TH Industrial Supply. And it goes like this, that Warwick Township Council approves report P&D 2225 Community Improvement Plan Committee recommendations. And that the application for facade improvement grant of $12,308 for 494 Front Street be approved. And that the application for facade signage grant for $3,940.24 for 490 Front Street be approved. And that the grant approval be conditional upon entering a letter of understanding agreement with the Township of Warwick. How does council wish to deal with this particular item?
I make a motion, we accept it as presented.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Manning is seconding that. Any further discussion? All in favor? That is carried. And then we have E, and this is a CIP committee recommendation to council as well. And this is 5275 Nauvoo Road. That Warwick Township Council approve report P&D 2325 Community Improvement Plan Committee recommendation. And that the application for the structural improvement and accessibility grant for the Watford Legion 5275 Nauvoo Road be denied as per the CIP committee recommendation. So that is the recommendation on that particular one, which is 13E. How does council wish to deal with this recommendation? Councillor Manning, question.
Do we know if they're gonna resubmit an application and try to follow the boundaries like that? I'm just curious if that's gonna be a process or is this their final kick at the can, as it were?
Stephanie?
Thank you, Councillor Manning. I'm not sure if they plan to reapply, but we have been in discussions with the Legion president to see if there's a way that we can assist them with a different grant opportunity.
Okay, so that's good. So like this, if we deny this, I'm looking at it, they don't meet the requirements, so we have to follow that. But I just want to make sure that they still get another opportunity to keep trying. I mean, I don't want to deny the Legion something if we can't help them.
Okay, any other questions? How does council wish to deal with the recommendation of the CIP committee? Councillor Manning, you moving it?
I'll make a motion that we follow the CIP committee's their recommendation, and hopefully we can move forward and help them in the future.
Very good. Seconded by Councillor Morris. Just my 2 cents. I think we all agree that we'd love to find a way to make this work. And we look forward. I know our staff, just for information, have been working back and forth with them, trying to find a way to make it happen as well. Okay, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you. We're going to go to F, 13F if we could. I think I've got enough time to squeeze it in. And this is the Thomas Drain, number 1, 2025 recommendation that Warwick Township Council approves the staff recommendation to award Van Bree Infrastructure the contract for Thomas Drain, number 1, 2025 for $91,704.80 excluding HST. How does council wish to deal with this particular item? Councilor Morris.
I make a motion, we accept the recommendation as presented.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Councilor Manning, a second. Thank you, Councilor. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. And I'm gonna go for one more here before we get to our friends at Garrett Pickfield. We're gonna go to G. And this is the Collins Drain South Branch abandonment, sorry, that Warwick Township recommendation is that Warwick Township Council approves bylaw 68 of 2025 to abandon a segment of the Collins Drain South Branch. There might be some questions around this perhaps. How does council wish to deal with this recommendation? Councilor Morris.
Kyle, has all the farmers agreed to this, like that are affected by it?
Thank you. Yes, the segment that in question is just beneath one farm and it's at the very top end of that municipal drain. It's been effectively abandoned for several years. There's infrastructure over top of it that no longer makes it function.
Okay, any other questions? Don't see. Yes, yes.
I make a
Councilor Mo-
motion, we accept the abandonment of the segment of the Collins Drain as presented.
Thank you, Councilor. Do we have a seconder? Councilor Manning? I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Okay, and I'll just might as well ask, is there any other new business for council today? We have a short agenda today, as we all noticed, but we aren't done. We have to get to our friends from Garrett Pickfield on the landfill. Okay, very good. No questions on that. So what we're going to do, I think we have Alex in the. Okay, we're going to go back to our delegations council. And we're going to pick up from there. So we have with us today, we have Alex Ciccone, associate with Garrett Pickfield LLP, and he's here to present the annual technical review team report. And there's also a recommendation at the end of his report. So Alex, it's good to see you. How are you doing? Can you hear me?
How are you? I can. Can you hear me?
I think is she muted? Just 1 second, Alex. We're just having a little bit of an issue here. Okay, can you hear me now? Can you speak, please? I just want to make sure we can hear you. No, we're having trouble hearing you, Alex. Are you hearing us now? You're
I can
hearing
hear
us,
you.
we're just not hearing you.
Can you hear me?
Oh, we've got you now. Thank you, Alex.
Okay.
Alex, you've been with us before and we look forward to hearing your report. So I'm going to turn the floor over to you, sir.
I have, and sorry for that technical difficulty.
That's
Thank you, Mayor
okay.
Case. I'm here to present the TRT's, the Township Review Team's annual review of the landfill, the 2024 operating year. I expect to be about 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes, subject to any questions. So I'll try and be efficient.
You have all the time you need, sir.
Okay. Just as a reminder for council, the way that this works is every year, early in the year, WM releases a report that summarizes what happened in the landfill during that year. The township has a technical review team that reviews that work. It's I like to call it about 900 pages of science. It's a lot of technical work. So our technical team reviews it and they provide comments and recommendations. We then go to council with that and that happened August 11th, to review that work and ensure council's okay with the recommendation and seek a council resolution. We send that to WM, who provides a response. And then in the fall, we have the final report, which sort of summarizes the outcomes as to that operating year. So all that's been completed. We now have the final TRT review and report for council. In previous years, we've had technical meetings between the township technical staff and the landfill technical staff to try and see if we can resolve any of the outstanding issues. This year, WM suggested not doing that because they felt the issues could be addressed in writing, as in they reviewed what we had to say, agreed with much of it, and thought, let's just get back to you in writing because a lot of it is very straightforward. And I would agree actually that most of it was resolved. There were just a couple things that were unresolved that I'm going to outline. I want to be clear that nothing here presents any immediate risks or anything like that, but there are things that we want to continue to follow up on to ensure that the landfill is operating as best as possible. So the only, substantial outstanding things related to surface water and groundwater, 3 categories. The first one relates to leachate volume, and specifically in the old landfill, so not the new work that's happening, but the old one they're managing. And I think every year we agree with WM about which parts of the landfill have a lot of leachate being stored. Just as a reminder, leachate is essentially rainwater that has fallen on the landfill, often picks up chemicals, and that has to be pumped out to ensure that it doesn't leak out. It's a normal part of landfill operation. We all agree where those areas are. We just disagree about how much of that leachate should be pumped out. At certain levels, it's completely safe. At some levels, we're not quite sure. And at some levels, it's risky. So we're just saying that the landfill should pump out a little bit more leachate in order to further reduce the risk of it breaking out of the surface. The second head is total suspended solids. So this is just what it sounds like when rainwater hits something, usually soils. It picks up some of those particulates and can enter waterways. That's not usually good for aquatic life, so we try and keep those numbers down. Most years, the landfill has had exceedances in these numbers. They have, to their credit, taken good steps every year to try and reduce that, but we still see exceedances. This year, the TRT said, well, there's a large pile of soil, and rainwater is hitting that and potentially bringing that into the water system. We have a couple recommendations about how we can further study that to see if that's a problem and perhaps mitigate that. And essentially, WM said, well, we'll take a look at that, and if it's necessary, we'll follow your recommendations. We were hoping for them to say, we'll just do your recommendations. So this is one we'll need to watch to see if those recommendations get implemented to try and further assess that problem. And the last category is the automobile shredder residue. So when cars get landfilled, they get shredded into tiny particulate. My understanding is that sometimes it, in the past, has been used as cover. It gets stuck in vehicle tires, like truck tires, and can be tracked out of the landfill. So in the past, the public has seen it, the ministry has seen it. And usually the landfill, when that happens, they've voluntarily discontinued it. They said, okay, we see this is a problem, we'll stop using it as cover. That's a good thing. The problem is that this cycle has happened a few times now, right? We see it track out, they say, we'll stop using it for now. And then they end up using it again in the future. There's more track out, they stop using it. So our team basically said, we know you're not using it right now, but if you start to use it, we're suggesting a plan to monitor some of the chemicals that you sometimes see associated with automobile shredder residue, because we want to make sure if it's leaving, we don't want to see any problems. And essentially WM said that as of June, they are not using it as a cover. So this monitoring system that we're suggesting isn't needed. Our recommendation wasn't to do it right now, but we were hoping for we're hoping for agreement from WM that if they start to use it, they will monitor it the way that we were suggesting. So this is just something that we'll have to watch, because if automobile shredder residue is used again, that will be the time for us to come back to this issue and say, okay, now that you're using it, we want to make sure that there's some systems in place to see if it's a problem or not, in addition to track out. So those are the key outstanding items. Nothing sort of immediate concern that we think this is a really big problem, we need to do something serious now, but there are some things that we're following up on. And to WM's credit, they did respond positively to most of the TRT's recommendations, which is good. So we have a resolution that we're recommending to the township. In that case, I'm in your hands as to whether there's any questions first, or whether you'd like me to
Sure,
read
let's
that resolution.
ask, is there any questions specifically on this report for Alex today? Councilor Morris.
Alex, the only one I'm concerned about is the odor. Like, we're getting odor complaints on Sunday. The dump has been closed, or the landfill, sorry, correct my English, has been closed since Saturday at noon. We shouldn't have any odor complaints on Sunday. I'm concerned about their cover. Now, they insist on using tarps, which isn't doing a good job. Is that allowed under your expert's opinion?
So
Please, Alex.
through you, Mayor, it's a good question. And just to be clear, that would be outside of this particular report, just because it deals with the 2024 operating year. But the issue with cover and odor is one that has been a problem in the past. We've recommended a couple things to try and help with that. And I will say that some of them are being assessed through the proposed landfill expansion environmental assessment. So they're looking at different possibilities there. That's something that's always ongoing. I guess I would say both for council, but also for members of the public, if there are odor issues, it's always helpful to report them directly to the landfill. For anybody who might be watching this, reporting them to the township, that's not a problem, but they do need to be reported to the landfill for them to be properly responded to. The landfill does send people as quickly as they can to, who are properly trained to look at wind speed, direction, smell, those kind of things. So it's really important to make those known to the landfill when they come up so that they can look and see, was it tarping? Was it soil? Was it something else? To your specific question, Councillor, my recollection is that tarping is allowed. I know that has been changed sometimes in the past. I think it's currently allowed. I'd have to double check. So I can undertake to get back to you, council, on that. But I don't think that is something that's offside at this point in time.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? So again, tarping is allowed. Also contaminated soils that meet the 1/10 rule is allowed as well. Yes, there have been some odor issues on the weekends, report in the last little while, and we have put out a piece, just so you know, Alex, to the public to report, but also very good to report to the Ministry of Environment directly as well. I think that's important too. I made a complaint myself not that long ago directly to the Ministry of Environment on an odor myself. So anyways, just to kind of finish up with that one. Alex, anything else you'd like to add before you maybe can read your recommendation to us?
No, but I thank council for their questions and for your comments, Mayor Case. You're right. Reporting to the MECP is also a very helpful thing to do. And I'm happy to read this resolution. So I'll just read it out and then let you direct council as to how they want to proceed with that. So the recommendation is in the memo to council that we prepared. It reads, whereas the township has now received its technical review team, TRT, final updated version of the tracking sheet for the TRT 2025 WM Twin Creek Landfill Annual Review. And whereas this final report confirms that most but not all of the recommendations arising out of the year have been resolved, be it resolved that the township confirms the completion of its 2025 annual review of the Twin Creeks landfill for the 2024 reporting year, and that township staff be directed to schedule a meeting between WM and township representatives to discuss WM's efforts to address outstanding items related to complaints and complaint procedures at the landfill, and to discuss options to advance solutions with respect to these items. And that the township hereby directs the final version of the TRT 2025 annual review with the updated final issues tracking sheet to be forwarded to WM and the Landfill Public Liaison Committee, and that the representatives of the TRT be directed to attend at the next meeting of the Landfill Public Liaison Committee to present the results and outcomes of the TRT 2025 annual review.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Alex. How does council wish to deal with the recommendation? Councillor Morris?
I make a recommendation to accept the presentation and the recommendation presented to us today.
Councillor, moved by Councillor Morris, seconded by Councillor Manning. All in favor? That is carried. Okay, well, thank you very much, Alex. We
Thank you, Mayor
appreciate your
Case.
report, and we'll be talking to you soon. Have a good day. Thank you.
Mayor Case. Thank you, council.
Okay, just going back to new business, I know I touched on it. We're moving forward into delegations. Just as an FYI, the one thing I'm going to ask staff to do for the next meeting, our regular meeting, is I'm going to ask them to dust off that report that we had back on a veterans crosswalk. I've had a little more information come to me. I see more and more municipalities are doing it. It's been in the news lately. And I can't remember how we left off with it last time. It was a good report done by Kyle. And I think maybe it was received and filed at Deputy Director. So I'll do the appropriate steps just as a notice here that I'll be bringing it back for further discussion for the next meeting, and I'll do the necessary paperwork and acknowledgement to bring it back. So it was a very thorough report. I think we received and filed it, if my memory serves me right. So we'll make sure that we do the appropriate steps to get it back on the table. If some more information's come through. And like I say, more and more communities just seem to be doing it lately. And so just as an FYI, I'll be asking for that to be brought back. Okay. All right, council, there's no other new business. Then that's the end of our regular session today of council. It was a short one. And I would ask for a motion that we go in camera according to the Municipal Act pursuant to section 239 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended for the following reasons to deal with number 2 and 5 of the act. Moved by Councillor Manning, seconded by Councillor Morris. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much, folks, for tuning in.